and mash for the sack down. Let my rubber gas sound to show you where I'm at. I lay that ass out when I rap and put the smack down. I'm tired of these.
Yeah, so I chose biochemistry and molecular biology. And when after my first year, I started realizing how much I liked writing, and so I chose to get a writing minor. And with that, I hope to accomplish going to medical school. That's the main goal. And I haven't decided what I wanted to do. Originally, I wanted to do emergency medicine just so I can be well endorsed in the body. And whenever, if I was ever to just drive down the road, see an accident, I know that I can assist right on spot. But I've been looking more into gastroenterology because I know that the digestive system is one of the main important systems in the body that keeps everything going, because what you put in your body really affects how your performance is and everything else, your mind frame and everything. So I want to make sure that if I study gastroenterology, I was able to connect that back to my people and be able to really speak to them about, from experience of studying the digestive system, how what they eat and what they do affects how their outcome will be. And I know also that the field is moving more into colon cancer and liver cancer. It's all part of the digestive system. And so I know that I'll be able to also assist my people, any African diaspora in that field, since I'll be studying that or specializing in it.
Is there a difference between the gastrointestinal tract or the gastrointestinal system that we see with our bodies versus what commercials put out there? Is there a discrepancy in information that we're receiving as African Americans or versus the commercial public?
Well, I'm not really well informed about that because I feel like I haven't moved up in the ranks enough. But from just word of mouth and the readings and things that I've done, I noticed that, and experiences I actually have with physicians, is that they prescribe medications that react differently with people that are from different kind of communities. And most of the time that when they do prescribe those medications or say what they think is the issue wrong with a person, it really necessarily is not that, and they haven't been taken into account how they eat and the reason why their bodies react that based on history, biologically, how some things run differently in different families. And so I don't think that they consider that often or enough, or they might not even care to go in depth. They just know that this medicine works good on everyone else, and the majority of everyone else, quote unquote, are Caucasian and have different lifestyles.
In general, we could have a symptom, let's say an ulcer for one, and they would prescribe a medication that would mostly work more times out of 10 for general situations across the board. However, most of those studies were done for Europeans. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And it will still do the job, but they have not taken into consideration the other parts of that person's lifestyle that could affect because of the community they're from, or any ethnic background, culturally, how they are and how they take care of their body.
That's deep. That's important. Also, cooked foods are carcinogens, so I'm pretty sure you're going to focus a lot on eating naturally, eating raw foods and stuff like that. That obviously is a big contributor to the decline of colon cancer and so forth. Is there any other major contributors to reduce the amount of colon cancer our people are receiving from their diet?
Well, I know the first step is to getting people to go to the doctor, and that's not something you see often in like the African American communities. So getting people to go is one of the first steps to getting a correct diagnosis. And again, that ties back to getting a physician who knows that when they prescribe something or whatever else, that they know culturally how those people live. And so the first step is getting them in, and I believe the second step is diet and exercise. Of course, there's always other factors like hereditary and just the way people live, but definitely getting them in and diet and exercise can all contribute. And when I say diet, I mean a good, healthy diet.
Good healthy diet.
Exactly.
Just not
But,
McDonald's once a week.
Exactly.
But limit your red meats and stuff.
Right.
I have a question though. For our people, you're telling us to go see the doctor, and you most definitely distinguish that we need to make sure that that doctor knows our background, our biology, our physiology, and how it is a little different. How do you think that we can make more commercial doctors that are regular hospitals more aware of that? And is there a trend of these sciences just differentiating the differences in people's physiology?
Well, I definitely think there are people right now that are working towards that for the future. I believe that they're standing on the shoulders of people who have been wanting to work on things in that area, and the gap between and honestly, I want to stop to actually say that I don't think that a lot of people that are already in healthcare or health field care enough to consider the fact that people from different communities are different in many ways, and take that into consideration into why they're having what they're having and such. And so I don't think that they care enough to educate our physicians and everyone else in healthcare about the fact of the matter that there are differences. And so
would you say then, I didn't mean to cut you off, would you say then that it is our community's responsibility to train our physicians? And
definitely. And that's where like something that I want to do comes into place, because I would already have walked that walk. So I would be able to educate people and speak with the support of my degree in medicine. And so I believe that, like I said, it's a work in progress and people are standing on shoulders, but definitely within the next decade, things should change. I see often people are starting to consider more how communities differ in different ways, especially the African American community, than a lot of ways that they deal with healthcare.
Yeah.
And but I do believe that it's changing slowly but surely. There are a lot of people who want to work on that, and we're getting the opportunity now, after so many years of fighting for it, to be able to contribute to the healthcare field in our own way.
That's important, and so I think that's very important because, as you said, there are differences, and we're also told that we're all equal, but yet the sciences go deeper. Even within the African American community, we notice that there's different diets based on different regions, even in America, even just with the weather.
Right.
So I think you again really agree with what you're saying, and I also want to point out there's a doctor called Dr. Sebi. Are you familiar with Dr. Sebi?
I'm not, actually.
Dr. Sebi, the doctor who said that he could cure cancers, and he was tried at a Supreme Court level, and he was proven correct because he makes the same case you're making, that the foods that we're eating here in a regular diet are not the natural foods that our ancestors ate.
Right.
And that has a big part on how our bodies respond into diseases that that are predominant in our community.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of predispositions that we face. And like I said, that I don't think a lot of doctors take into consideration the fact that our diet and our history's diet and such. So yeah, definitely there are I'm pretty sure there's articles out there already about it, but it's just not something that is being pushed and recognized, but it should be within the next decade.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's very important. What is it going to look like when you are making these strides? What are you going to do, and how are you going to accomplish reaching your goal?
Well, one of the first parts is keeping the mind frame, because it's really easy and I speak for a lot of people, to get distracted and to not get so discouraged by the problems that we face on a daily basis in college, being just looking different for one, and talking different, and other characteristics that my people and I have that can lead us down the wrong path or just derail us from reaching the goal. So one thing is, keeping that mind frame and staying strong throughout the obstacles that we face. And I'm speaking for myself also. And also once we are able to achieve the degree and be able, doors will open up for one. And for me specifically, I know that once I do achieve that degree, I look forward to actually going to communities and not just speaking from the internet. I'll actually want to go and, if whether it's door to door or having some event, but at community parks in African American predominant areas, and educating people there on spot and free, handing out things that I know that I can give to the public without violating any rights, whether that's just taking people's vitals and stuff. There's also student-run clinics that also do the same thing, but they may face legalities. And so that's another thing that I look forward to doing. I also look forward to opening up facilities to educate, that where people can go in and get educated in any science field, and have just teachers there on spot, able to teach people of African descent. And I also look forward to opening scholarships up to people, since I'll be able to have a stable income as a physician, and just put people through college in many areas that are around the area that I'm probably going to be working, and hopefully move to nationwide and such.
Yeah.
But those are some of the goals. And to accomplish those, I'm going to have to just stick to it.
Yeah.
And speak for a lot of people who are, can easily get derailed, but they have to just stick to it.
Yeah.
And recognize that down the line how much it pay off, and how many lives can be touched just from giving up 4 years of your life for me,
Right.
going through medical school. So.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point, because I think there's a lot of people who end up going into it in a profession with a heart for the community, but then the days of life go on, and eventually they start thinking only about their own conditions and
Right.
and alleviating their own day-to-day grind. And I do think that we all have a responsibility
Yes,
to our people and to humanity, to make sure that we hold our people accountable, and that we give back our resources and our skills into our community, so that those people who are less fortunate, we can help them out. And everything that you're doing is admirable. What name would you call it? What name would you call your program or your vision or your company if you were to establish it? Have you thought of that yet?
I have not thought of it yet.
You okay? I just was wondering.
I just want to get there and be able to do it, but
Yeah.
once that time comes, I'll cross that bridge.
How successful have you been this year? You're entering in. I'm kind of going back a little bit, but we're entering in your senior year of you at being at UC Davis, and you're on track to graduate. What is your GPA, and what awards or accolades have you received from your academics?
I currently have a 3.15 or 17 GPA. I'm looking to my goal is a 3.5 before I graduate here. It's really hard to figure your GPA up. I received a few scholarships in the Sacramento region. There's a lot of people who've actually funded me to be here, because it's not something I could have paid for on my own. Coming from a single parent, my mom has broken her back, and she's actually living with my grandma just to save money for me to go to college. So I believe that the scholarships are really helping me get through everything with things that I'm dealing with on the side. That's pretty much. I received some other awards, but they weren't really academic. They were just a participation. Actually, the Cross Cultural Community Center here on campus awarded me the Rising Phoenix Award. So I was really appreciative of that, because you had to have been selected out of a large pool of people to have received that award. And so I was really appreciative of that. And that was just for overall successes. Other than that, that's pretty much, I've received a whole bunch of things, and I have a list of 20 rewards that I have from high school up until now.
Oh wow! Do you have a list I could get and I could use it for this blog? I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that.
I actually do have a list of a ton of. Sometimes I'll lose track of the names of the scholarship that awarded me, but I have them written down somewhere because I always think about, returning what they give, just for the fact that, that's why I got through everything is because of them. So look forward to giving back to the community that way.
Well, there you have it. I'm here interview with Mathew Culberson. Thank you once again for letting me interview. Any last words you want to give to our viewers?
God is good.
God is good. And you heard it here first. It takes a village to just raise one of us. Thank you.